Okay, welcome everyone to this allinx webinar, Public Transport Authorities' Role in Promoting Cycling by Tarja Jeskeleinen. My name is Frederike Demmers and I'm the moderator of today. And first I would like to say welcome to our presenter Tarja Jeskeleinen and also welcome to our participants. I see that the people are still coming in, so that's very good. We have a very diverse public. They come from 12 different countries, from Israel to Argentina, so that's really great. First, I would like to introduce Tarja to you. She is the Chief Mobility Management Specialist and has been working with public transport for 16 years, of which the latest 6 years with mobility management. And she is working with cycling projects, marketing strategies, and cycling processes for many years now. And Tarja, I would like to say the floor is yours, so you can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So let's roll. I will, in first phase or part of this presentation, so I will tell you about our marketing strategy, and then we will have a short break, or if you have questions and so we can discuss about them. And then in the latter part of the presentation, I will tell you about our brand new city bike system. So first, about our marketing strategy. We and our municipalities who own us, so it's Helsinki metropolitan area. There are Helsinki, Vantaa, and Espoo. So we have created together with them a new cycling marketing strategy for next 5 years. Well, I have to admit that there are even more municipalities than these 3 cities. Actually, there are 7 municipalities who own us, but we started this cycling marketing strategy with the 3 biggest municipalities in the Helsinki region. And the aim of the strategy is to unify and boost communication on cycling. And perhaps the most important thing for this strategy is to normalize cycling in this area. Well, we have ambitious goals here. We want to increase payment of cyclists so that there should be the total modal share of cycling about 15% in 2020. But it's not just amount that we are trying to effect. We want to change opinions of all residents in HSL area, and that's more than 1 million people who are living at this area. And we want that they should think about cycling more positive, that they, even if they self don't cycle, they understand that cycling is a very good thing, that and it's good that we are promoting that. And of course, we have to measure our goals then. So we measure aimants of cyclists in our own traffic survey, but then also cities have their own measuring points. And then we want to make also quality research, so that we ask for residents and cyclists how satisfied they are with cycling and cycling infrastructure, and what kind of attitudes do they have.
Tarja, what is just a first short question? What is the percentage of cyclists at this moment?
11.
11. Okay.
Well, at least in Helsinki area, so it's 11. But also in Espoo and Vantaa, I think it's pretty similar. But then in our other owning municipalities, those which are smaller cities, so the share is smaller. Okay, so why are we doing this marketing strategy together? So of course we think that it's more effective if because there are so many parties at this area, different cities, different municipalities, also many kind of operators who work with cycling. So we think that we should have a common joint language how we speak about cycling. And here you can see then the main points about this strategy and the language what we are using. We want to be, or we want to create empathy because it also creates flexible traffic culture, and there are several, or we have lots of residents who have several roles as transport users. So we want to take into consideration all of them, and there are public transport users, motorists, pedestrians, cyclists, and even among cyclists, there are different kind of cyclists, and we want to take into consideration also their opinions and attitudes, and what needs do they have. Then we need to work together. So not just as municipalities, but then we need to work also with private operators because there is lots of potential and knowledge also among private companies. And then the communication has to be recognizable, clear, unified, and of course high quality, regardless who is speaking. Then I already mentioned this normalization of cycling. I think that's our main target. We need to make cycling as a everyday mode of transport, and there are many kind of cyclists. There are commuters, people who wants to get to their hobbies. Then there are families, children, elder people, shoppers, people who want to just see places like tourists, and of course people who also can make a living for the cycling, like freight cyclists. And then of course there are also these cyclists who are like sport addicts or that kind of people who also are very heavy users of cycling.
And Taya, just I see your first question is, do you have specific target groups, for example, employees? I mean, you mentioned all the different types of cyclists, but yeah, employees is also a specific target group. Do you focus on that in your communication?
Yeah, well, we have this mobility management where our main target groups are employers and employees, and then other group schools. So there we have specific ways to take contact those groups. But then among this cycling strategy, of course, because it's for 5 years. So during that 5 year, we will focus on different groups, of course, and use different communication strategies to them.
Okay, and I see an additional question of Benoit Bureau. Do they target also event participants for which the model choice could be questioned? I'm not really understand what Benoit ask, but maybe you understand.
I mean that if there are events, do we try to get people to come by bicycles there, or yeah. Yes, we do that also. We have many events in central places, so we always ask people to come on public transport, but also on bikes. And there, for example, last summer there was already an event where HSL promoted especially cycling. We had parking lot for cyclists there, and it by us. So it was an example of that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So then we want to do cycling just very credible mode of transport. It's we want to talk about cycling transport. It's not just hobby or something. It's a way to place from. It's a way to get from one place to another. So it's just transport mode like public transport or driving car. And of course, we want to make it so popular that it's and change the attitude so that it's even just part of region's identity. Then when we talk about cycling, we want to focus on that it's functional and it's effortless and it's fast way to move from one place to another. And also this that it's enjoyable and fun, and we try to create this cycle-friendly atmosphere so that it's seen everywhere in this region. So it's big big goal, but I think that we can do many things there, and I think that we have already achieved something because already now the payment of cycling has increased a little bit, so it can be seen here already. And very important thing is of course this removal of obstacles. It's important to invest to cycling infrastructure, of course, and also promote different kind of cycling services, because there are different kind of needs for different kind of cyclists. So this is very important part to not just communicating, having good services for cyclists. So then this is more detailed plan where you can see our teams year by year, and also what kind of perspectives different groups should have. So this year our agenda, or we are saying that cycling is on municipalities' agenda, that we are trying to promote it, and what are we doing to promote it, and we are talking about also infrastructure here, and the team is now we are rolling, and we want that cyclists think that I have good prerequisites for cycling correctly, and those who don't cycle, that they understand, for example, why there is construction site on their way. And then this societal perspective is that smoothly flowing cycling is good for everyone, and that's why it's on our agenda. This is because, well, for example, HSL, we are public Transport Authority. So someone would ask, why are you promoting also cycling? But we think that cycling and public transport together are better competitor for private cars. So that's why we think that we should also promote cycling. Then next year we focus on normalization and removing obstacles. And the theme is we are all cyclists, and cyclists should think that I don't have to be a nerd or sport addict to cycle. And then those who don't cycle, they should think that I can cycle as well, even if I don't do that at the moment, but I should try. And then societal perspective is that we are not supporting hobby for a small group of people. There are lots of people, and even the potential for cyclists is even bigger. So this is important thing to promote. Then 2018, we focus on empathy and working together, and we try to create cycling culture at this area. And team is working together benefits everyone. And here we try to focus more on empathy, that all transport users should take more into consideration each other. Then 2019, the many uses and roles of bicycles is on focus, and what can you do with a bicycle in the metropolitan area, and still working with this removal of obstacles and encouraging people to cycle more. And it's just encouraging people that cycle more if you already do that, and if not, try it. And we think at this phase we think that the more there are cyclists, the safer it is, and the more smoother transport will be then. And the last year in our 5-year plan is reinforcement of culture. This is how much we cycle here. Come join us. And cyclists should think that I'm doing the right thing when I'm cycling, and the city also wants to support me cycling, and then non-cyclists should think that there are already so many people cycling, I should do that too, and cycling is a very good thing. And so this is our 5-year plan, and after that we would like to be one of the world's cycling metropolises. So hopefully we will get there. There are many steps to go, but I think that we can manage that. Then, besides of this strategy, we designed with those 3 municipalities also common image for cycling, and it can be found in our style guide. There's the address, and we tried to make it customer orientated, of course, but also recognizable and unified, so that it doesn't matter who part is speaking, so that the communication should be unified. And we tried to use that kind of well, this next part where we have these basic elements, so that they are easy to use and connect with operators' own image. because we know that, well, all operators have their own images and they want that it should be shown every time when they communicate to, for example, customers or residents and so. But then here are these basic elements which those different municipalities and operators can connect in their own image. And there are eight elements, basic elements. This bicycle icon, and then color palette. Yellow is the primary color. And then we have this dotted line, which is easy to use in many places. Then this pictogram library, and also bicycle pattern, which can be used in many places, also in large areas. Then picture concept, and that means that we don't just take pictures, photos, but we have already given instructions for photography, so that, for example, when municipalities take their own cycling photos, so they should use these instructions, so that the image of cycling should be unified. And then we have these yearly themes. This year, as I already said, it's this now we are rolling. And finally, we have this new internet address, like cycling portal, where you can get many kind of information about cycling. It's under HSLV website, but there is also another address because our municipalities wanted to have direct address which doesn't mention, for example, HSL, so that it's a general address. So 2 addresses and they take to same place.
Okay, Tarja, just a quick question. Benoit Beroux asks, he says Helsinki is getting a new public bicycle system provided by Smooth. One of the main advantages of the public bicycle scheme is their marketing impact on social representation. He asks, how do you combine the communication to attract public bicycles users with your great communications 5-year plan? Is that something that you're going to answer in the second part of the presentation, or?
Yeah.
Yep.
I will.
Okay, that's good.
More about that.
Okay, and René asked the question, electric bicycles created a new target group. You can cycle further in a very easy way. Is this also part of the communication?
Yeah, at the moment we have a project going on with electric bikes. We are creating new service models on electric bikes with employers. So that's interesting project going on now, and we will also later on in our strategy we will tell about different kind of cycling styles and also different kind of availabilities, what technical availabilities there are on cycling. So yes, that's also, it's important thing that electric bikes are increasing, and I think that we can get totally new cyclists because of e-bikes. Okay, so I have only a few slides here left on this part. So here are some examples about how we marketed this spring. So we started to telling what are we doing to promote cycling and to do it as easy as possible for as many as possible residents at this area. For example, sorry, this is in Finnish, but we told that there will be 100 times longer high quality cycling net, and then we already have 12,000 parking lots for cyclists or bicycles. So these kind of advertisements. And then we already had this spring cycling pit stops where we offered free maintenance for bicycles. And then we will have also stickers for store windows. They are also in Finnish, but it says that more bikes, please. Park your bike here. Then it rolls in my head. It's not so good in English, but in Finnish it's like playing with words, that one. And then the last one is there, I bike, therefore I exist. So these kind of stickers that stores could place in their windows and also say to the customers that we are cycling friendly store, please visit us. Okay, so this was the first part. So do I proceed or?
Yeah, well, I see just another question of Haritz Ferrando. He asks, are you promoting cycle training courses in schools? Can you talk about it a little bit?
Actually, no, we are not promoting training courses. We are working together with schools so that we have this kind of travel buddy who go to schools and give guidance how to use public transport safely. How do you bicycle or use bicycle safely, and what are the traffic rules, for example, for cyclists, and that kind of thing we do, but not like that we would go, for example, outside with children and bike along streets. That doesn't we do.
Okay, so it's more up to the schools to organize it if they want to change something or change the attitude of the parents.
Yeah, and lots of informing, of course.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I also wanted to remark something that Benoit Berou said. He said, very good to put empathy first. I like it a lot. But is it did you do that on purpose?
Empathy. Sorry, I didn't.
Well, in one of the first slides, no, it was not a question. It was just a remark that on the first slides that you put empathy on the number one of the important subjects. So.
Yeah, it's very important that that we should take into consideration all transport users, and the atmosphere will be more positive if they have more understandingness about different transport users, and that's why we have to start with the empathy and always communicate about empathy to each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question from René. He says there will be more cycles infrastructure. Is cycling safe in Helsinki at this moment?
Yeah, at the moment it is actually, so that even if there are more cyclists, the accidents, the amount of accidents hasn't risen. So it's good. And we hope that even when there will be more cyclists, so the other transport users are more aware of cyclists and be more careful, and so that there wouldn't be more accidents even later.
Okay. Well, I suggest you go further with your second part of the presentation, as there are no questions at this moment.
So, Helsinki city bikes. Finally, we have them. Last time when we had city bikes in Helsinki was 2009. So there has gone many years. And after that, we started to plan new system, but well, there were many thresholders before we and obstacles before we got this. But yeah, now we have new system, and this summer we have 500 bikes in 50 stations, and next year the system will be tripled, so that there will be 1,500 bikes and 150 bike stations. And the net is pretty tight, so that it's not a long way to between stations. So it's approximately 300 meter. And the producer of this system is Smooth and Moventia. And HSL isn't the purchaser, it's Helsinki City Transport who is responsible for the system and also purchased it. Our role is to take care of communications, marketing, and also web services. And of course, we are also, well, we have been planning the system with Helsinki City Transport, but we are not the owner of the system. It's Helsinki City Transport. Then there is also this City Bike Finland, which is owned by Smooth and Moventia, and it's responsible for maintenance. Here you can see the bike stations. There are these. Actually, at the moment, there is 46 stations in use, because some construction sites and that kind of things, there are still 4 stations which are not in use yet. And yeah, well, perhaps you all know what are city bikes. They are shared use bicycles that everyone can use if they have paid the fee. And you can choose what kind of season do you want to take. There are daily, weekly, and whole season and users. And each season includes 30 minutes of bike use per time. And if you want to use it longer per time, then you have to pay a little extra. And altogether, you can use it 5 hours at a time. And you have to always return the bike to the stations. And why we have this? So we want to encourage people to use the bike only for short time, like moving from one place to another, because this Helsinki city bike system, it's meant to residents. It's part of transport chain, so that it's not for tourists. Even tourists, of course, are welcome to use it, but the main purpose is to, for example, fulfill commuters' needs, so that they come with train or metro to some place and then continue their trip with city bike. And you have to register to use city bikes, because we have to know who is using bikes, so that there won't be any misusing.
And Tarja, can I ask a few, just a short question? What is the difference between the bike system right now in change to the bike system of 2009? What is? What's working
well,
better?
the main thing is straight, so that we know who is using the bike. The old system was only so that you put, was it? I don't remember. Well, you put a coin in the cycle, and then you could use it, and there were lots of bikes were stolen, and take it, people took them they home and whatever. So there was lots of waste of bikes, but now we know who is using them, and we also of course get some fees to cover up the costs of the system.
Okay. And is a maximum of 5 hours enough for commuters, is Renee asking?
Yeah, it is. Because, well, this whole area where we have bikes at the moment, or those stations, so you can cycle it from one end to another in 30 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not so big.
Oh, so you
And,
park your
well,
car, and then at the end of the evening, then you just grab another bike and...
yeah, well, we are trying to. Oh, at the moment, we are negotiating with also cities of Espoo and Vantaa. Perhaps they could take the same system also. So next year, Helsinki will have wider system, so more bikes, more stations. But it would be great if also neighboring municipalities would have the same system, so that in Espoo, which is neighboring municipality of Helsinki, so you could use city bikes there, and when you come to Helsinki, you have the same system here, and you can use bikes also here. So that's our goal now, but I don't know then how those cities will then decide about this thing.
Okay. And Annette Enemark asks, she says, the answer is there, but is the half an hour included the ride with public transport?
No, it's different. So you can use travel card also in this system, but it's a different payment system, so that we collect money from by city bikes use, so that I can show that later to you, so that after you have registered, so you get this cyclist ID and PIN code, and then you go to the stations or whatever station you want to, and then you can take the city bike there, and by using this cyclist ID and PIN code. Or if you want to, you can replace the cyclist ID with your travel card, so that next times you can just show your travel card and put the PIN code. And for the tourists, there will be 5 stations where they can loan or borrow the bike without pre-registration, but they are not in the use at the moment. They will be later. And yeah, then you bike 30 minutes, and then if you don't return the bike, you have to pay extra. But and the maximum is 5 hours that you can use per time, and you can return the bike wherever bike station you want to. But you have to be careful that the return will be succeeded, so that you don't have to pay then extra, because in the beginning some people just put the bike and didn't wait that the bike said that yeah, return is okay. So if there is something wrong and you just leave the bike, so someone else can come there and take the bike, and it's on you. So that's not a good thing. And here you can the charges. I have here old layout and new layout because we got feedback from customers, so we tried to clarify the payment system. I'm sorry that new layout is only in Finnish yet. It will be also in English, but at the moment our English website it's this old layout. And there you can see the prices. It's pretty cheap this whole season. It's to the end of the October, and it's only 25 euros. And you can use as much as you like the bikes in 30 minutes or 30 minutes per time. And here you can see the or this may show it better that after you have cycled 30 minutes, the next half an hour is 50 cents. And if you still are using bike and don't return it, so then you have to pay €1. So that if you leave the bike or return the bike after 1 hour and 30 minutes, you have to pay €1.50 extra. Did you understand this explanation? Good. And there is also example that if you want to borrow the bike for example 4 hours, so you have to pay totally €15.50. But this is because as I explained earlier, so we try to encourage people to use bikes only for a short time, so that there could be as many bikes as possible to available many people. So not so that people take or a person takes a bike and use it whole day, and so that there should be enough bikes for everyone. And we have new journey planner in this address beta reittiopas.fi, where we have these city bike stations and availability of the city bikes, and you can take it also to the routing, so that it shows not just how do you make the trip by public transport, but also by city bikes. So I think you should go and try this after this webinar, because this is a new service. I think it's much better than our old journey planner, because this is mobile optimized, and there is this GPS location, or it will locate you by GPS, so that you don't have to know where you are. You can see the closest stops and the timetables, and if you are cycling, it's of course easier then, because when you are cycling you can hear where you are at the moment. And
okay. And Tarja, Renee asked, is there a track and trace system so you know where the bicycles are?
Not specific or individual bikes, because we don't track them, so that where the bikes where the stations are and how many bikes are there available at the moment. And then finally our experiences of use. So we started in the beginning of May and there are already 10,000 registered users. Most of that amount is people who are registered for whole season. They are at the moment about 8,600. And already about 80,000 trips are made, and we are very pleased with this amount of trips per bike per day. It's 6 trips, and if we compare that to city bike systems in big cities, so this is very good rate. And we have got a lot of positive feedback from customers. Yeah, well, as I said in the beginning, we have waited this for many years, and also customers and residents have waited. So they are very happy that we finally have this system here, and it has been working pretty well. No, nothing special problems have been. Of course, development will be done so that people have asked more detailed instructions, and that we have already done. We have developed the website. Well, pricing. Here was somebody who asked if you can use that with or is it the same price as public transport? So yeah, we have had requests that if you are public transport users, why can't you use also city bikes with the same price?
Yeah.
But well, the costs for the system are pretty high, so we want to finance some costs with user incomes, and of course there is also this advertisement agreement that we have a big sponsor who was also financing this system. And many have already asked more stations, and there will be next year 10.
That's good. And an earlier question of Benoit Beroux was how you combine the communication to attract more public bicycle users within the Communication 5-year strategy program.
Yeah, well, city bikes are one important thing in this cycling scheme, so that it encourages people to cycle more, even those people who have used earlier car. So, and perhaps public transport hasn't been so attractive to them. So this city bike system may be answer to them, and for example, combining or combination of public transport and city bikes will be answer to them. And the image of city bikes is pretty similar to, or it's sister to this cycling image, so that we are using this yellow color and dots and and the same image, so that and also well, we don't have so detailed plans for next year marketing programs, but next year, of course, we will promote this city bike system, which will be enlarged. So that will be connected also to this this cycling marketing strategy, of course. So they go hand to hand.
Okay. Another question from Benoit is, will you have data about public bicycle users who effectively use public transport during the same intermodal trip? Most of the time, tickets are different, so there are only assumptions from surveys. when someone is using public transport and also using the one of the city bikes. Is that also?
Yeah, we will in this coming autumn, we will make a user survey for the city bike users, and we will also ask about these travel chains. How have they used public transport, and how do they connect the trips? But do they combine city bikes and public transport in their trips?
Yeah.
And so and we will make a survey on that.
Yeah, but it's only from the survey and not from data of the travelers of using the cards.
Yeah, well, we don't track travel cards, how users of travel cards are moving. We don't track them, but yeah, it could be done, but we are not doing that, and it's also sorry, I don't now remember the word, but it's private thing for customers, so we don't track them.
Okay. Yes, got the privacy. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had our video in the end. So,
yes.
But
we are running out of time, and you also have another meeting scheduled. So what I will do is, I will send the URL of this video to all the participants so they can watch it later. Yeah. Okay. Well, Tarja, I would like to thank you very much for your presentation. If anyone has any questions left, they can put it in the question, because we would like to ask you to stay online for a few more seconds to answer a few questions in our survey. And if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the survey, in the feedback form, and then Tarja is able to answer your questions. Well, thanks again, Tarja, for your very interesting presentation. Thanks to all the participants for the questions and listening and being here. And I wish you a very good afternoon. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.